Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, this is a very short video, and it's just designed really to update ourselves on a study level 737 in preparation for the release of the 700, which is tomorrow actually. So if you've never flown a study level 737 before, or if you have but it's been quite a while, well, this video will refresh you and get you prepared so that you can jump straight into the PMDG 737 and get flying and started absolutely straight away. So today we're just going to go over the systems, this cold and dark startup, and we're going to taxi to the hold short. Now I believe it's true, I believe that you will not be able to load your flight plan from the menu screen, so you will have to we're forced basically to upgrade our skills and get into the FMC and set everything up on the FMC. Me included, I've been forced to upgrade my skills. But it's probably good for us, and it's probably time we did. And also, the more skills you have and the more you know about the 737 systems, the more use you're getting out of the plane. You're not buying a Ferrari and cruising around at 40 miles an hour. You're actually getting full use out of it if you really know how to work the systems and get the best out of the simulation. But today we're going to keep it simple and basic, just to refresh ourselves and get used to flying get used to starting up a study level 737. Now this is a 737-800, the Zebo mod, an X-plane, absolutely brilliant. It's probably the best 737 we've had in any simulator. Well, probably not the best. PMDG do have one in prepared 3D. But if you don't have that simulator, we've sort of been stuck for a real study level 737. But this Zebo is a study level 737, and it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely brilliant. And I'll probably keep flying this 800 even when the 700 is out. I will fly both because it is amazing. Okay, so let's get onto the cockpit and get things started up and underway today in preparation for the release of the 700 that's coming out tomorrow. Right, we're in the cockpit here, and as you can see, the cabin and the passenger area is just modeled absolutely beautiful in the Zebo 737. Absolutely amazing, possibly even better than the PMDG one at this stage, although they will upgrade it. But for the moment, this one I think is superior when it comes to the cabin and the cabin for the passenger area, the seating and such. Okay, so here we are, cold and dark. Let's get rid of my ugly dial so we can see all the levers and buttons. I'm just new to flying study level 737s, so this really is more of a practice for me than a tutorial for you. So if there's anything I've left out or missed, please feel free to put it in the comments so we can all learn from it. So here we go. Let's get ready for the 700 that's coming out tomorrow, and we'll use this for a good retraining or a refresh or a practice. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is just check the state of the airplane, make sure it is all ready for a cold and dark startup. We're going to come up here and work from left to right, work down the different panels, make sure all the buttons and switches are actually turned off and not on. All the fuel pumps are off up here, everything is off. Okay, generators and everything are off, lights are all off. Come up here, emergency lighting is all off, windscreen wipers are off. Over to the next panel, wing ice window heat, everything is off. Generators off down here. Over to the next panel, Casper fan, recirculation fan off, isolation valve closed at this stage, and packs are off. Down here all lighting is off. Okay, so the throttle is in idle, flaps are up, emergency air brakes are up, gear lever is down. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is get some power on, so we'll switch on our main power. Now, we're going to be quite a while here fluffing around with the FMC and doing stuff. We don't want to run our battery down. There is lamp power available, so we're going to use the lamp power. Now we've got power to the aircraft, we can continue doing all our other bits and pieces. One of the first things we're going to do is align the IRS, because that can take anything from 15 minutes to 25 minutes depending on where you have the settings set. So I'll switch those around to navigation. And just to help the alignment, I'm going to come over to the FMC here, and I'm going to do position in it, and I'm going to put the position of the aircraft into this blank line here. So everybody knows the satellites and the radars, and everybody knows exactly where we are, so the computer can align itself. Next thing, we're going to get our ground services and everything underway here. Down to the ground services, we'll open some doors, the forward entry and the rear cargo and rear service. We don't want any service up through the front door. We could open another front door, but we don't want the service people coming in and out there. We've got passengers coming on board and everything, so if there's any work to be done on the plane, they can use the entrance at the aft at the rear of the plane. Ground services, we're going to put our chocks in place. We're going to connect up at the GPU and the ASU, and we're going to put our steers down for the passengers to start arriving. And we can start our flight leg. Weight and balance, we're going to check our payload, make sure we got fuel. We've got 12,000 pounds on board, so we're okay for plane. There's our tanks there. We've got plenty of gas for a little short flight, so that is all good. Okay, now we're going to start our checks. Okay, we've got a few checks to do, so we're going to come down here and do our fire check. We're going to bring this one over here, and the lights should come on and the bell should ring. So for the fire check, for the engine fire check, those lights come on. We're going to do the aft cargo fire check. Yep, that's all good. Warning lights on and bells are sounding. So that is good. We're going to do our lights check here, check our lights. Yep, all lights are good. Okay, now we're going to come up the top here, and we're going to check that our flight recorder is on. We're going to do a speed warning check. Okay, that tells us we're going over speed. We're just checking that those are sounding correctly, so that is all good. And our stall warning, we're going to do that. Let's check our stall warning. Maybe do that later then. Doesn't seem to be working right now. That's not a good sign, is it? Okay. Okay, so we have got power. We've got we can actually start our APU. How's our alignment going on? I think our alignment is done. We've got the FMC to do yet. We've got to program our flight plan into the FMC. But we're going to switch over from land power to our APU. So we'll come down here, we'll put on our aft fuel, and we'll hold this down and we'll start our APU. Wait for the exhaust pressure gauge to come up. There it goes, coming up there now. So we can turn on our APU bleed and our APU generators. Actually, we should wait for that light to come on, to be honest. before we turn that on. We should have waited for that light to come on. Hopefully that's still going to come on. So let's turn our position light on to steady. There we go. Okay, we've got APU power now, and we are now running on we are now, click that down, we are now running on APU power. Okay, let's check the back of the aircraft. Should be able to see the heat exhaust fumes coming out there. Oh yeah, look at that. That is awesome, isn't it? That's beautiful. Okay, now you can see here we've got these little machines all connected up. This one's connecting up the power, just absolutely beautifully modeled there. This one is actually pumping in compressed air, okay, to all our systems and our packs and everything, for our cabin pressure and everything. That's pumping compressed air into there. Okay, so we've got our APU running, all the systems are up and going. So let's go down to our FMC and get this ready for departure. Right, now I've got a little flight plan organized. Just very, very simple, just for the sake of this video. And we're going to go from Cleveland. We're going to go from Cleveland over to Niagara Falls. Okay, so we got our reference airport here. Let's come over this way a little bit. Our reference airport, KCLE, we're going to put in there. KCLE. KCLE. We're going to put that in there for our reference. Okay, something's happened. KCLE for our reference airport. No, that doesn't seem to be working either. Okay, let's have a look up at our IRS. Our IRS is on navigation. Legs, departure and arrival, FMC, position in it, we have done. Depart, our route, okay, origin, KCLE there, KCLE, and our destination is Niagara Falls, which is KIAG. KIAG, put that in there. Flight plan will be Jet in 108, just for the sake of this, just for the sake of the video. Okay, now our route, I'm only going to put 2 waypoints in today, make it really easy just for the sake of this video. Keep it simple so we can get up and flying. First waypoint is Dione, D-I-O-N-E, D-I-O-N-E, so we're going to put that in there as the first waypoint. It's asking us to activate, so we'll activate that so it's saved in the system. Second waypoint, Kathy, okay, K-A-T-H-I, in there. Oh no, in the wrong place actually. Put it in the wrong place. Kathy should be over there. Okay, choose that one. Okay, we activate. So there we are. We've got 2 waypoints in there. Keep it nice and simple for today. Depart and arrive. We're going to depart Cleveland 06 left, runway 06 left. Execute. Depart and arrive. KIAG, Niagara Falls. We're going to arrive at ILS 28. ILS 28, right, we'll click on that one, execute. Okay, now if we go back to legs, we've got a few discontinuities and things to deal with. So we'll start shuffling through here and getting rid of those. Deleting what we need to delete. Another discontinuity there. Now you can't seem to delete discontinuities. You have to click on the waypoint or the title, but under it, click on the one under it, then click on the discontinuity and it replaces it. Okay, the discontinuity disappears. Still got one to replace there, so we just got to tidy it all up. Another discontinuity there, so we go to the next page, click on that one, come back, click on the discontinuity, and that tidies up that discontinuity. Click on that one, come back. What's going on? Sometimes it doesn't always go the way you want. Okay, click on that one. Click on that one. Okay, we've got rid of that discontinuity. Execute. One more to delete, I think. Delete that one. Execute. Next page. Previous page. Okay, so that's it. We've got Dion, Kathy, and then runway 28 right. So that's all our waypoints in there. And we have activated it. Now there's a lot more you can do in the FMC, of course, and in the 737-700 there'll be even more. You can really get into it. You can put in your petrol or your fuel weights, the passenger weights, and your takeoff speeds, and all those sort of things you can do in there. And it's a day's work just figuring your way out, figuring it all out. Actually, it's a day's work to get into that, but you can get into it. You just play around with all these and you'll figure it out, and there's about 1 million tutorials on it. But if you can put your basic flight plan in like I just did, at least we can get up flying and go from A to B. Now if we have a look at our display here, we should be able to see our flight plan in here. There we go, there's our flight plan in here. We try and zoom in a little bit. Okay, you can see our flight plan up here to our first waypoint. We turn around and then straight in for an ILS approach. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Okay, so for departure we are going to our altitude. Initially our altitude, we will go to 9,000 feet initially, or 10,000 feet. Okay, our speed 250 knots will be our initial speed we'll head up towards. Okay, now one more thing we need to do, and that is we need to prepare for a ILS approach. So what we've got to do is put our ILS frequency number into the radio here. I've got it written down. Okay, I've got written down ILS frequency for Niagara Falls 28 right is 110.10. So we're going to put that in here, and the standby 110.10, 110.10, and we're going to hit this and transfer it over to the active. Now in the 737 from PMDG we have to do both sides. Okay, in the past I've only done one side. But apparently we are supposed to do two sides. Okay, so we'll have to do that when we're in the 737-700. Okay, 110.10. So I bring this down to 10, and I click that one over to the active as well. So there we are. We've got our ILS frequency in the radio there. So that is good. Now we come up here, and for our course we need to put the heading of the runway in there. Now the runway is at a heading of 280, so we're going to put that into the course box here. 280. Okay, so that's in there, and we also have to do it on the right hand side as well. Okay, 280 course. So that's it. We've got our frequency and our course for the runway, our altitude, climb out, and our speed. So that is all good, and we're going to set our auto brakes at RTO for reject of takeoff. Okay, so we are about ready for departure. We're going to go to pushback. We've got clearance for pushback. So we'll go down here and we'll manage the aircraft. Ground services, we're running on our APU, so we don't actually need the ground services. Remove our blocks. Start closing our doors. Bring up our stairs, and we'll close our doors. Okay, ready for pushback. We'll put on our taxi lights now. We can turn off our ground power, and we can go ahead and ask for pushback.
Okay, a push cart is on it.
We've got a push cart coming somewhere. And while we're getting pushback, we will fire up our engines. Now in preparation for engine start, we want to turn on our fuel pumps and want to turn on our isolation valve. Open our isolation valve, and we'll be all good for startup. We're going to turn on our anti-collision lights as well. No smoking. Seatbelt signs. Still no sign of our push cart. I think this is our one coming over here now. Heading through here. Here he comes.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Here he is, magically appearing through the building. So let's release our park brakes.
Here we go.
And pushback is underway. Okay, so let's get our engines underway. We'll start the right engine first. Bring that around to ground. We'll see these numbers coming up here.
You paid the fuel bill, right?
When they come up to 25, we will add fuel to the engine. Thanks, buddy. Thank you for that. I could have gone back a little bit further, actually, to be honest. But that's okay. Okay, we're up to 25. We'll add fuel to the right-hand engine. And we'll see those numbers coming up there now. So that is good. Here we go. You can see the... Oh, you can bugger off, mate. We don't need you now. What are you doing? Okay, you can see the right engine firing up there, so that is all good. That's clicked back to where it's supposed to be in the middle, so we'll do the left engine. Yeah, get out of the way. Now, where are you going? Gee, these guys are crazy. Okay, we've got our left engine firing up there now. And soon we'll see that switch click back round to off automatically. And we're going to add fuel to that left engine now. Numbers coming up there, that is all good. Okay, so the engine switches have clicked back to the center position. So I'm going to click those round to continuous now. I'm going to turn on the engine bleed. and the engine generators. Okay, we have two beautiful good engine starts. Park brake on. Okay, so now I'm going to switch power over from the APU to the engine. See if we can get power from our engines. We don't want to run our APU motor any longer than we have to. They're very expensive to replace when they wear out. So I'm going to turn on the engine generators here, and I'm going to actually turn off the APU now. Turn off the APU bleed, and we're actually running now. We are running on our engines. Okay, so prepare for taxi. We've got our taxi light on, beacon light on. We can just put that on, yeah, leave that on steady for now. We can turn on our packs, put onto auto so we get some air conditioning through the cabin. I'll put this little fan round so it faces onto me so I get a bit of cool air. That is very, very nice. Okay, we'll put our Casper fan on and our recirculation fan, and we'll turn on our window heat, our ice probes, our standby power. Turn that on. Your damper on. Okay, and we have permission to taxi, so we are ready to taxi. Okay, we're going to set our flaps down to 5. Give ourselves a little bit of trim for departure, so that is all good. Just pre-taxi check, just check that our appropriate lights are on, taxi lights, etc. Engines are on continuous, all fuel pumps are on, generators are on, isolation valve open, engine bleeds are on, packs are on. Now, auto brake is set to RTO, rejected takeoff. So we can release our brake and we can taxi to the active runway. Don't have far to go. We can get on the runway just straight down here. Really enjoying this Zibo 737. It really has been excellent training for me for the PMDG 737 that's coming out, and I'll continue to fly it because it is a beautiful 737-800, and PMDG won't have an 800 out for quite some time. So it really is nice for the airline to have a 737-800 and a 737-700. And if you can fly this, well, you can fly the PMDG one, I'm sure, because they are both full-on study level aircraft. Okay, so parking brake on here, and from here we can get clearance to head out onto the runway. But first I like to do a control surfaces check the ailerons and the rudders check. Rudders are all good. Reverse thrust, yes. Speed brakes, yes. Speed brakes are all good, and we have clearance for departure. So we're going to turn on our landing lights. and we're going to turn on our strobe lights because we're heading on to the runway. I think our strobe light is on already, so that is good. And runway turn off lights, I don't think we put those on at this stage. Okay, just check we are configured for takeoff. Flaps on 5, trim set appropriately, so we can release our park brake and head out for departure. We have clearance for takeoff. Also like to do a visual check as well, even though we do have clearance. Now you don't need to stay on the orange line when you go taxiing onto the runway. That is for taxiing to the runway. When you're taxiing onto the runway, try and stay right close to the end as you possibly can, so that you have a lot more runway in front of you than what you need. Runway in front of you is usable. Runway behind you is of no use at all. So always stay right down the end, get close to the end as you can. Now in the Boeing manuals they suggest a rolling start, so if that's what's in the manuals, that's what we will do. So we'll bring our throttles up, make sure our engines are stable. Engines are stable, so we can bring our throttle right up. Positive brake, gear up. Doesn't that look amazing? That is just beautiful. This is a full-on study level 800. Look at the fumes and everything, and the heat coming out of those engines at the back. Unbelievable. Okay, flaps up a notch. That is just gorgeous, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to go over now and set up and just turn on our autopilot and head and intercept our flight plan. And that's it for today, guys. That is just a reminder, a refresher on how to fly, how to start up from cold and dark at 737-800, a study level 737. If you've never done one before, if you can fly this one, you can fly the PMDG one. So hopefully this will be helpful, so that when you get your PMDG plane, you can get straight in and start it all up. That plane will be more detailed, there'll be more options, and the FMC it'll be quite complicated, but just the basics will be the same as this 737, okay? They are both study level planes. Okay, enjoy your new plane, a new 737. My next video for you will be in the PMDG plane. Take care, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Happy flying.